Josh Giddey is seeking supposedly around $150 million for his next contract. Should the Bulls give Giddey the bag? We'll talk about it right after this.
This is your home for all things Chicago Bulls. Join the conversation. You're listening to Chicago
What
Bulls
is going on,
Nation.
Bulls Nation? So Josh Giddey is about to enter his restricted free agency, and reportedly, his camp is looking for 150 million. Let's say that's 5 years, so that's around 30 million a year. Should the Bulls give that to Giddey? Now, there's two camps to this. A lot of people are saying it's a fair price. It's not even his max. That is the standard, kind of like a starting point guard quality number right now. I guess we'll see it because isn't it Emmanuel Quickly? Just to give you context, Jalen Suggs is making 32 million. Emmanuel Quickly is making 32 million. Is Josh Giddey better than those two players? I would say he's better than Emmanuel Quickly easily. Over Jalen Suggs, debatable. Because it's hard to judge Jalen's. He's better defensively for sure, but it's easier to play with somebody like Paolo Banchero as well. And also that entire team is loaded with young talents. With that being said, Josh Giddey's still pretty young. A lot of potential still left in him. I'm not even going to discuss Trae Young's contract. Obviously, that's a lot more. But is 30 a fair deal for somebody like Giddey? Sure. Yes, it is. For a starting caliber point guard, it is a pretty fair deal. I don't feel good about giving Giddey 30 million. I'm still not sure if the Bulls should or shouldn't. Not because of his talent or his potential. It's just because of just a future. You want to be able to explore and have the flexibility down the line. Would you still have that, let's say in 2026, if you sign, let's say, Josh for 30 and let's say Kobe for like 32, 34? I don't think Kobe's deserving 34. Maybe the same amount, 30, right? So you got 60 on the books. 2026 is supposedly the year where there's big free agents, and also 2027. So you want to have some cap flexibility on those years. And yes, you will still have, some sort. As a matter of fact, if we sign both Josh and Kobe for the max for this year for an extension in 2026, we still have one slot for a max player for 2026. Now the question is that max player and Josh and Kobe gonna be enough to propel the Bulls to, let's say, a playoff second round? Right? I'm not sure. That's why I don't know if committing 30 million for somebody like Josh Giddey would be a smart move for the Bulls. That's what I'm trying to say here. I'm not sure, honestly. And with that being said, 25 would be a little bit more conservative, I would say. If you can sign both players for 25 each, I would say I would consider that a deal. 30 is about right, because no one's going to sign Giddey for 38. I just don't think he's going to get that. So 30 is something with no hometown discount, I'm assuming. Like this year, I get what people are saying as well. It's like, hey, let him test the market and let the market dictate. Because that's what we did with Patrick Williams. We just outbid ourselves. Honestly, the right amount for Patrick Williams would probably be around 14 million. Yeah, we signed him for 18. Heck, the way Williams is playing, he should be mid-level, if not lower than that. But obviously, hindsight is 2020. You can't predict that. You are signing him for potential. Now, I'm not saying Patrick Williams can't turn it around, but we have enough data now. Enough data to show that I don't think that's going to happen. So Patrick Williams is what it is. Maybe the first moment he becomes somewhat tradable, maybe the Bulls should move on from him, because he's one of those dead contracts that we do have. Not terrible as far as moving it out, because like I said, 18 is not going to break your bank, but it's still sizable enough that in this current CBA. And if 18 you think is a dead weight, Wait till you have 30. And I'm not saying Josh Giddey is going to be Patrick Williams unplayable kind of thing, but there are moments in this first half where we're all scratching our heads why we made that trade. I don't think that's going to happen anymore, but I would feel much better if we can retain both him and Kobe for 25 each, give you 10 mil, enough to sign like a mid-level player. That's not even mid-level nowadays, but I'm just saying it'll give the Bulls enough flexibility for both guys. To be quite honest with you, I don't know if the Bulls can afford to sign both in that sizable contract and have the flexibility to sign big time players in 26 and 27. Ideally on 26, the big free agents on 26 is like Luka. I think he's going to sign back with the Lakers. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr., I don't know if he will. So that's one big name that the Bulls can probably, maybe outbid some of the guys out there. Even Memphis, maybe if they want to go in a different direction, maybe they'll trade Ja and just retool. Who knows, right? But Jaren Jackson Jr., he's probably going to command around 35. So hey, if you pair Jaren Jackson, maybe, I don't know if you can. Does he play center? I don't think so. Maybe put him in a power forward and put Matas in the 3. Maybe he'll improve his handles. That's a big lineup right there. And then get a center that is maybe a rim protector, or that's already Jaren Jackson, somebody who can stretch the floor. So now we have a pretty big lineup. So, that just on top of my head, Jaren Jackson is, I would say, the most realistic out of the bunch. Of course, I want to get Luka, but, probably not going to happen. Another person there is DeAndre Ayton. I'm not too excited about that prospect. I don't like his motor. So let's say you don't get Jaren Jackson and he resigned. The following year, you still want to have some flexibility, because that's when, yes, of course, Giannis is going to be older, but that's where Giannis, Nikola Jokic, I'm not saying those guys are going to switch teams, but they're going to be 32 if you can get 3-4 years out of them, But you got to be smart on how you want to play this contract game. So we'll see. Hopefully, this is something favorable for the Bulls. But I wouldn't be mad if they sign him for 30, but I'll be more comfortable for anything less than that. But let me know in the comments down below, how do you feel? Do you want to retain Josh Giddey? What is the price that you think he is just worth it for the Bulls? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.